The Fiat 500 brings a lot of fun into a small package. The addition of a Wilwood Disc Brake kit provides even greater performance to this already fun car. This vehicle utilizes lug bolts. With the wheel removed, only the two inner disc retaining bolts hold the rotor to the hub. Remove the lug bolts and the two rotor retaining bolts. Remove the spring clip that holds the OEM brake line and grommet to its mount. Slide the brake line and grommet off the mount. Pull off the clip that secures the rubber brake line to the body. Unscrew the connection where the OEM rubber line meets the hard line and quickly cap it to keep fluid leakage to a minimum. Re-secure the connector fitting with the supplied clip. Remove the two bolts that attach the caliper to the hub. Be careful not to drop any of the components. The caliper, rotor, and rubber brake line can now be removed. Install the supplied hole reducing inserts into the upper and lower caliper mounting holes on the spindle. Place one washer over the supplied caliper mounting bolts and insert it from the inboard side. Install one of the supplied spacers on the end of each bolt. Use glue Loctite on the threads and attach the caliper bracket. The bracket should mount with the thread inserts facing outward and the flush side facing inwards towards the spindle. You need to attach the hat to the rotor. Apply red Loctite to the threads of the supplied bolts and tighten them down in a crisscross pattern. Torque the bolts to the supplied specs. The kit uses an indexing ring to center the hat and rotor assembly onto the hub. The beveled edge faces the outward side. Attach the rotor and hat assembly to the hub. Secure it in place reusing the OEM retaining bolts. Apply thread tape to the brake line fitting and secure it into the caliper body. The nipple should end up facing up and parallel to the caliper body. We're initially going to mount the caliper without any thread compound. This will give you a chance to add or subtract the supplied shims to reach proper alignment. Start out using one shim on the inside of the caliper. Attach the caliper to the caliper bracket and tighten everything down. The rotor should be centered in the caliper. Once you've reached proper alignment, disassemble the caliper and bracket and reassemble using blue Loctite this time. Attach the caliper to the caliper bracket. Torque the bolts to the supplied specs. The brake pads can be installed through the top of the caliper. Slide the pads in with the friction material facing the rotor, of course, and secure the pads with the E-clip. It's time to find your OEM brake line in the grommet. Cut off the grommet by making a cut along its length. Now place the grommet over the Wilwood flex line. When remounting it, rotate the cut section towards the mounting tab. Reuse the OEM spring clip to secure the grommet and flex line to the flange. Attach the Wilwood flex line at the caliper's 90-degree fitting. Uncap the fitting at the hard line and quickly attach the Wilwood flex line, keeping fluid leakage to a minimum. Before you take it to the streets, be sure to bleed your new brakes. Follow the supplementary instructions included with your kit for bleeding, pad bedding, and the minimum test procedure.